It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman, and we have with us here today Jeff Levine from Silk City Hot Sauce, the greatest hot sauce in town. And if you go to silkcityhotsauce.com and you put in promo code ED, you get 15% off and you get a free bottle of hot sauce. Plus, you help support the show because it's one of those commission type deals. Mr. Levine, are you there?
How are you, Ed?
I'm very, very good. Tell us about yourself. Who is Jeff Levine?
Jeff Levine is a hot sauce maker in Vermont. He's the king of hot sauce in southern Vermont. That's what my friend in northern Vermont, who's also in the hot sauce business, tells me. But I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm a pretty laid-back guy. We all have our moments.
And you were telling me right before we started the show, first of all, how'd you get into the hot sauce business?
Getting into the hot sauce business started with with an obsession with hot sauce, going way back to when I was probably just out of diapers, and I was exploring the kitchen and found a bottle of Tabasco, put it to my lips, and the rest is history. Just always been chasing that heat for every type of meal except for breakfast and stuff like that, unless it's eggs. But always loved hot sauce. Going back 20 years, I remember traveling up to Maine and to see a concert. But on the way back, we stopped at a little farm, like on the side of the road, and they were selling their products. Like you ever see that? Where there's just like a little farm stand right at the end of a driveway.
Oh yeah, we have them down here all the time. Yeah, I'm down in Florida. Everywhere.
Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, I grew up in the suburbs of New Jersey, so it was. I was like, well, pull over, check that out. So we pulled over, and there was a guy selling, tomatoes and zucchini and stuff like that, and he also had a bottle of a blueberry jalapeno hot sauce and his big sign, like Maine blueberries and fresh grown jalapenos, and it was really interesting. I bought a bottle, and I thought it was one of the coolest things I ever had. It was so unique, and that pretty much turned into like a quest, traveling all over the country for different reasons, but I would always pick up hot sauce. My collection grew and grew and grew and grew. I had hundreds of bottles. Flash forward, to 2017. I'm living in Vermont. I'm surrounded by farms, and one day I just got inspired to throw my pepper hat in the ring. I went down to Dutton Farm. It's not far from where I'm talking to you from right now. I started talking to George and his brother Joseph, two guys that run the farm. And I said, what kind of peppers do you grow here? They said, we'll grow whatever you want. Jalapenos, habaneros, long hots, all kinds of stuff. Anyways, I brought home a big bushel of peppers and turned my kitchen into a laboratory. And here we are.
I see that. If you would have been driving by a meth stand, you could have turned your kitchen into a meth lab. But instead, it's a hot sauce laboratory. By the way, let me stop you for a second, man, because you said that you don't put the hot sauce on the eggs.
I do. Yeah. When I said breakfast originally, I was thinking oatmeal and like Applejack cereal and stuff like that. But oh no, hot sauce is an absolute must on eggs and bacon and breakfast sandwiches, stuff like that. Definitely.
Yeah, I don't eat eggs anymore or meat. I'm vegan. But when I get to hash brown potatoes in the morning, my vegan toast, what do they call it? The avocado toast. I'll put the hot sauce on the hash browns, man. And always hot sauce in a Bloody Mary. Hey, how come you don't have like a special hot sauce just for Bloody Marys?
That's a good idea. The Badass Jew, which we'll get into after, that's one of my hot sauces. It's called Badass Jew. You heard that correctly. Yeah. It's perfect for Bloody Marys. It's jalapenos, habanero, cherry peppers, and there's tomato in that sauce as well. So it actually works perfect.
The other day I was on the Truanon podcast, right? And they're big listeners to this show. They've been following my show for years, even before they had a show. And so he said, well, I'm going to start the show just like you always do. Ed, tell us, who is Ed Opperman? And I says, well, Ed Opperman loves hot sauce. Okay. And if you go to SilkCityHotSauce.com, I gave the promo code and the whole thing. So I know a bunch of people from that night went into your website. But one guy tells me, he bought the Badass Jew. All right. But he says he has COVID. I don't know if he's kidding or not. He says he has COVID, so he can't tell if it tastes good or not. But he can. He did like the label on there and the designs on there too, because it's like artwork on your bottles, right?
Yeah, every bottle has a unique, one of a kind, original artwork. The artwork is a story in and of itself. Growing up in New Jersey, my father was a comic book and rare memorabilia dealer, and we used to go to different conventions from New York to Florida to California, Chicago, everywhere. So I spent my life in comic book dealers' rooms, and there were always artists there promoting their really cool artwork, and it was just a world that I was like submersed in. When I started the hot sauce business, I pretty much got rolling like everyone else. I set up at the farmers market and the flea market, and sold my sauce to the neighbors, and all the regular routine of being like a small specialty food business. But I don't know. One day I was inspired. I thought, boy, well, I don't know if it was I was inspired or I just missed. You know how you miss things from your childhood, and you just like want to kind of like go back into that place that was so, like, I don't know, maybe magical or unique. Anyways, I reached out to a New England comic book show promoter. Shout out to Gary Summers of the Northeast Comic Con. But I called him up and said, could I set up a hot sauce booth at your comic convention? And he was like, I love hot sauce. So he sent me an application, filled it out. Next thing I know, I was the premier hot sauce vendor at a comic book convention. And we actually did well. We did really well. People were coming there, shopping for comics and toys and memorabilia, but we were there. My labels didn't have comic book art at that point. I had a dragon on the label. I met several artists at the show. Jay Moores, Charles Mosant. These guys are pros. And Charles came over to my booth and to actually buy hot sauce and taste it. And he started telling me, oh, he loves hot sauce. He's got sauces with 10 million Scoville units at home. I mean, this guy really gets into it. Anyways, we started talking about different labels, and we just started coming up with ideas almost as a joke. We were just like, yeah, wouldn't it be cool with a hot sauce label? Had a femme fatale burning a guy tied to a chair, and he's on fire in the middle of a dark city landscape scene. Anyways, we said, wait a minute, these are cool ideas. Next thing I know, I've got artwork coming into my email inbox, and I've kind of revamped the look of the hot sauce. Each flavor has a unique piece of artwork now.
Yeah, that's okay. Now you clarify that, because I thought you said before that each bottle had a unique artwork. And I said, what are they doing? Sitting there by hand painting each bottle before they send it out there? It's impossible.
Oh yeah,
right?
that would be an undertaking. 600 bottles per batch, each one with its own artwork. Now each flavor has its own graphic.
Excellent. Hey, now, a lot of people seem to get into the hot sauce business, right? And Ron Jeremy, who's in the news right now for his legal troubles, he had his own hot sauce too. Is this something? Have you ever are there hot sauce conventions where you meet these other guys?
There are. I haven't been to the Northeast Hot Sauce Expo. It's in New York City. I don't know if it's me or what it is. I kind of stay away from like the in crowds within this particular industry. I find that it's like a who you know type of club, and I mean, maybe at some point I'll go to a hot sauce expo and mingle with Peter, but I haven't been there yet. I mean, I buy hot sauce and I seek it out and I try all the different flavors, but I haven't been to the expo.
Now, off the air, you were telling me about how you got into Silk City Hot Sauce and what your lifestyle is like now and how you enjoy going out. Why don't you tell us about what an average day at the hot sauce world is like?
Sure. Well, for example, next week we're gonna be running a batch of habanero sauce. So it pretty much it's an early start. The kitchen is 3 hours way up north. It's in Vermont. It's a commercial kitchen. So like I said earlier, I turned my kitchen into a laboratory. That's only for experimenting, but the sauce itself is made in a commercial kitchen. It's way up north. Flashback a couple of months. The pepper harvest is in September, October. I go down to the farm and I load up my 99 Suburban, big black, looks like I'm in the Secret Service Suburban with just 250, 300 pounds of peppers, whatever I can fit in there per load. And I bring it to a freezer space because I can't make all the sauce all at once. So I get fresh peppers, and then whatever I don't make with the fresh peppers, I freeze. So next week, I'm going to head over to my freezer, and I'm going to unload a couple 100 pounds of habaneros that were grown right down the street from here. I'm going to drive up to the kitchen, and I'm going to leave the house around 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, get there at 8, and we're going to start processing the habaneros, fresh carrots, fresh garlic, apple cider vinegar, a little bit of salt, and a few extra seasonings. This is the habanero sauce I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So it's full of fresh farm-grown habaneros, and that's the key. A lot of times I challenge anybody listening out there to look at bottles at the grocery store. When you look at the ingredients and you see stuff like guar gum or xanthan gum, that's all thickening agents. That basically turns like a watery substance into a thick sauce. So it's an illusion. There's nothing in that in these sauces. What the thickness is from the peppers and the garlic and the fresh carrots and stuff like that. So we're going to process all those peppers, and then we're going to cook them in a big 60-gallon kettle, and then we're going to bottle each one, and then each one gets a cap, gets put on by hand, boxed up. It takes about 14-15 hours to run that cycle twice. And then I'll drive home and plot.
I haven't heard that expression in a while. Now, I'd say it's great to hear this, all natural products and flavors and stuff like that. And just like PureSoapFlake.com, another sponsor of ours. It really feels good. The kind of sponsors we have are like local types, locally grown, pure organic type folks, like SilkCityHotSauce.com. Now, have you ever considered branching out like into pepper spray and making those self-defense weapons?
That's not a bad idea. We could use the chaff, the stuff that's left over, and it keeps the bears away. I know a lot of people that do that around here. That's as far as crime goes. That's what we're dealing with.
Oh, so you got bears where you live?
Yeah, we're basically in the middle of the woods in Vermont. I live on we literally live on a dirt road.
Really?
So yeah, as far as crime goes, we just keep the critters away. But I guess we're blessed up here to be honest with you.
You like that lifestyle, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually moving. I'm in a small beach town now, and I'm moving. It's a little too small, a little too remote for me. Like, I need to do tires, and they tell me I can't get tires the same day. I got to wait like a week for the tires to ship in. I can't live like that. Let's go through I know, yeah, I can't live like that. Now, let's go through the 8 flavors from mild to wild. What do you got here? The sweet, spicy mango madness. What's that like?
Sure, the mango madness. That's kind of in the middle. You know what I'll do? I'll just start right here. I'll start at like the mildest. We've got a chipotle sauce. That's our mildest sauce. It's called the Bobby Biggs Chipotle. Bobby Big is a Houston-based comedian. He's hilarious and he loves food. He's a big guy. He actually just lost a lot of weight. Shout out to Bob Biggerstaff. He's the character on the label. So in case if you go to my website and see the Chipotle. This sauce features fresh and smoked jalapenos, Vermont maple syrup, a little pumpkin, some smoked paprika, cider vinegar. It's sweet, smoky, and mild. This is not going to blow the top off your head or anything like that. It's almost barbecue-y. That's the Chipotle, smoky. That's the classic Texas flavor. Moving up a step or two, we have a sauce called the AZTEK Attack. It's got a really cool label. There's